Inertia of motion. By definition, inertia of motion can be defined as it is a property of a body by virtue of which it opposes the change of state of motion. Means if a body was in motion, it doesn't want to come to rest or it doesn't want to change of its state of motion. So I'll give you an example to understand from our day-to-day life. If there was a car and you just imagine you are sitting at the back seat and the car was initially moving with certain velocity. That means the car and you and even the driver as well are in the motion. And if driver suddenly applies the brake by seeing a person who is crossing the road, when driver suddenly applies the brake, then what happens? We feel a tendency to move forward. We'll get a jerk forward. Why? Why do we get a jerk in the forward direction? Because since our bodies were in motion along with the car, when the brakes were applied suddenly, the car comes into rest. But what about our bodies? No, our bodies have not come into rest. Therefore, since they were in motion and they always wanted to be in motion, they doesn't want to come to rest by a small instant of time. So they feel that resistance to be in the same state of motion. So that is the reason why we experience a forward jerk. So this is one of the example, a better example to understand inertia of motion. I can give you one more example. This one we can even identify in our home. Just imagine there was a fan. Uh, if the fan is rotating at a certain speed when the fan was on. Now this was happening just because we are supplying some electrical supply, therefore electrical power is being consumed and so the fan was rotating. But now when we switch off the fan, but we observe that the fan continues to move up to certain extent of time. Why do? Because since the fan was in the motion, it wanted to be in the motion. It doesn't want to come to rest in a short span of time. So until and unless if there is an external force stops it. So everybody wanted to be in the same state of motion until and unless if there is a large external force acts on it. So this resistance offered by the body to not to change its state of motion is called inertia of motion.